Hello everybody. Happy Friday night. Welcome to my Zen Den. I'm so glad that you could join me. My name is Mandy Van Havermit and I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! From Grey Eagle, Minnesota. I have got a couple of fun folds for you tonight. I'm kind of focusing on two things. Number one, the Perennial Lavender designer series paper, which is just such beautiful designer series paper. And then I'm using the Something Fancy stamp set and dies majority. I've got another die that I'm going to be throwing in there, one that's got on the clearance rack, or not clearance rack right now, but it's on the last chance products, and I do believe it's marked down right now. And I checked just before I came on, and it is, as of right now, that die is still available. It is the scalloped contour dies. So let's flip the camera around and we're going to get Stampin', and I will show you what we're working with tonight. Hold on just one second. And these are both a couple of fun fold cards. They're really cute. They're really beautiful. And I think that Perennial Lavender paper, I think no matter what you use it on, it makes a beautiful, beautiful card. Just pretty, pretty paper. So let's tip that up. There we go. It's not falling. Yay. Okay, so this is what we're going to be, some directions for what we're going to be making. And this is the first card that we're going to be making. So, really pretty wedding card, and it is a fun fold. This is an accordion style card. So when you open it, it's got that really neat, pretty inside. So, using the Something Fancy stamp set. The stamp set will be carrying over to the next catalog, which is awesome. It's got some beautiful, fun dies that are great for layering, and we're going to be doing some layering. Has some great sentiments. You matter to so many, with deepest sympathy. I didn't forget your birthday. I'm just stretching out the celebration. May the good you do come back to you. Nothing fancy, just love. Here's to beautiful beginnings and happily ever afters. Thank you, congratulations, happy birthday, and grateful for the everyday magic of you. And one of the best parts of this are the dies, and they layer so nice. I've used these dies a lot, and they are, like I said, they're carrying over into the next annual catalog. So there's that. Let's get cracking. This is our first card. There's the directions. Let's bring out the goods. Whoa. Whoa, Nelly, I'm dropping things. That's because I got two cards piled together here. That's why. Don't do that. Okay, here we go. I have got a piece of basic cardstock, basic white cardstock, and it is 11 by 4 1/4. That's scored right down the middle at 5 1/2. Then I've got a piece of gorgeous grape. This is where the colored and the contoured scallop dies come into play. And they belonged in the color and contour stamp set. I don't see the stamp set available anymore, but the dies are still available. They're really pretty scalloped dies, rectangles and things like that. There's 2 flowers that go with the stamp set, but honestly, I didn't use those a whole lot. I used these dies, the scalloped dies, so much more. So that one is this die right here. So it's roughly 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Okay. Now if you have the postage dies, those would work also. I just happen to use the scalloped contour because I like the way that looked also. Then I've got a piece of the designer series paper, and this is from that Perennial Lavender, and it's 4 by 6. Okay, and it's scored at 1 1/2, 3, and 4 1/2. So 1 1/2 inch increments. Then I've got 2 pieces of Pretty Peacock right here. They are 2 1/2 by 4. I've got 2 pieces of basic white. They are 2 3/8 by 3 7/8. So it's 1/8 inch smaller than our Pretty Peacock. I've got a piece of designer series paper that fits nicely inside of my scalloped rectangle, and that is 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. And then I've got a scrap of basic white. So this card looks really, really fancy, and it is fancy, but it comes together oh so easily. And I got this idea from Susan Campfield. So thank you, Susan, for sharing your great ideas. I'm going to fold our accordion piece like I said, it's every 1.5 inches. So go ahead and fold it like that. Okay. And let's do some stamping. Let's do some stamping. Okay, so I'm going to make this a wedding card. So I've got the sentiment, here's to beautiful beginnings and happily ever afters. That will be on one panel of the inside of our card. And then I've got just a basic congratulations for the front. And I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape to stamp our sentiments with. All right, so just ink that up, just tap, tap, tap it. And just stamp that straight down and straight up, kind of centered on that one piece of basic white. Now on our scrap, I'm going to take that congratulations and just tap, tap, tap again and center that on my scrap, just like that. That is all the stamping that we're going to be doing. I love it when the designer series paper does the work for us. All right. So I'm going to let that dry and let that dry. Not that they're wet, but I just want to make sure that they dry nice before I go handling them. So let's fold our basic white card base right in half. And so I am going to layer my one basic white on top of my pretty peacock. Just centering that on there. And then we'll take the one with the writing and we'll do the same thing. The one with the stamping on it. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. I swear it happens when I'm live, right? I was prepared though. So we'll load that back up with a new one. Love our Stampin' Seal. And that's what I love about it. It's just load it up and you're ready to go. All right, so we're going to center that right on our other pretty peacock. Don't those colors just go together so great? And I love our designer series paper because it makes color coordinating so simple. The way I came up with the colors for this card, are there the colors that are on the designer series paper? We've got some pretty peacock, some Lost Lagoon, some Highland Heather, some Gorgeous Grape. It's all in the designer series paper. I love that. So, okay, we're going to open up our card. And first things first, we are going to adhere our pretty peacock panel in. Just like we would a regular card, any other card, we're going to make our border around our white equal. So put it down just like that. And then on this side, I'm going to do the same thing. And of course, this one doesn't matter near as much because it doesn't have any stamping on it. So there we go. Just eyeball that. All right, now for the magical part. What we're going to do is adhere this down right there. So I'm only going to put adhesive on this piece, and I would put a significant amount of adhesive because this is going to have, it's kind of going to move. It's going to pull a little bit, right? So we're going to, I want to put my head in front of the camera. I'm going to line it up, leave just a little gap in between the pretty peacock and the edge of that, and stick it down and kind of burnish it. And so it's going to sit like that. And now I'm going to put some adhesive right down on here, like that. And then we're going to just fold it down. And are you ready for the magic? This is the funnest part. Ta-da! Isn't that pretty? Oh, that is just like the funnest thing ever. Okay, so let's make the front of our card. I'm just going to simply adhere my piece of designer series paper onto my scalloped die piece, like that. And then I'm not going to bump that up. I will, because this has already got a fair amount of puffiness to it, and I'm going to bump up my sentiment. So we're just going to center that right on the white card front. So pretty. Okay, so now I've got this left. I'm going to grab my dies, and I'm going to use this die right here. And you could use a 1/2 inch strip if you wanted, but this is going to make the perfect edges there. So the fun thing about this set of dies is it works well with the mini cut and emboss. You don't have to use the mini cut and emboss. You can use the regular size one. I just wanted to show you the mini because it's cute and it's fun and it works great for small spaces. You can't do everything on this guy, but anything that's mini. So the smaller embossing folders, the ones that are only 3 inches wide, those work well, and any dies that are smaller work the same. So same thing, it tells you exactly, somebody cut once on my plate here, but it tells you exactly how to make a cutting for it. So this is the cutting edge, plate number 1, and then 2 plate number 2s. So that's what we've got going on here. And I'm just using some Post-it note tape, and we will run that through. A lot of people buy these little mini cut and emboss to keep like in their campers and things like that. So when they're traveling, they have them with them. They're just fun to have around. Take up a lot less room. Very similar to our big cut and emboss, but it's a mini. So it folds up just like the big one. It's just a mini. So here we go. We've got our congratulations. So let's adhere that down. I'm going, here, let's put this back before I lose it. Oop. That never happens to me. I never lose anything on my desk. Har, har, har. I am fibbing there, aren't I? Okay. So if you wanted to add some ribbon or some twine or things like that, you certainly could. I'm going to leave it just like that. Put that down. Congratulations. So pretty. And then I'm going to be using some of these. They're an adhesive back sequins trio. Very pretty. They're a nice pink color. And then this is kind of a pretty peacock, and then some white. And I think they're just pretty. So let's put a couple of those on, just to add a little subtle sparkle. And then I've got one more pretty that I'm going to add. Whoa, Nelly. One more little pretty thing to add on. So I added 3 of those. Such fun. I love that. Then I'm going to use, in that same Perennial Lavender suite that the paper comes out of, there's this pack of, they're called Paper Butterfly Accents. Super pretty. They're cut out butterflies. So if you don't have a die cutting machine, you don't want a die cutting machine, you don't want a lot of butterflies. There's 40 butterflies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 8 sheets inside of here. So you get 8 of each butterfly. Really, really pretty. And they're a nice weight, and they're just perfect. They're a nice paper butterfly accent. So we are going to attach that guy inside of here. So it looks like our butterfly is flying. And to do that, I'm going to just use a little bit of green glue, and just ever so lightly. You do not need a lot, because otherwise it'll squish out, and that's not the look you're going for. So just a little bit, and he's going to hang off the outside of my little box here. So I am being mindful to only put glue there. So I'm just going to let him sit for just a second, just like that, because I don't want to glue it shut. There we go. All right, so now when you open it, you've got that wonderful 3D butterfly. Beautiful card. So there are, if you want to take a screenshot of that, 1 second, let's get that out of there. Okay, if you want to take a screenshot of that with that beautiful opening, here's to beautiful beginnings and happily ever afters. What an awesome wedding card. Love, love, love that. Okay, and now I've got a second card. using the same designer series paper, I'm going to be using a piece. This is a different kind of fun fold. So I've got a piece of Lost Lagoon. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this is one panel of what a card would be, right? Then I've got a piece of designer series paper here. It is 11 by 5 1/4, and it's scored at 3 inches, and it's scored at 7 inches. Okay. And then I've got a piece of basic white, 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. And then I took a scrap of Lost Lagoon and a scrap of basic white. I've already cut my scrap of Lost Lagoon out with this die out of those Something Fancy dies again. So I'm using the same dies. And then out of the basic white, I'm going to be using the smaller of the tag dies. And I'm also going to be using this little guy right here. That's fun. There's 3 of these little dies in here, and each of them will fit right up inside of this die to make it moves better whenever it's on paper. There you go. So it'll fit right up on in there. So we're going to try it with this one. All right. And this was a fun fold of a card that I received from my friend Sandy Carlson. So thank you, Sandy, for sharing this beautiful fun fold with us. So we're going to fold our designer series paper on our score lines. So it's making kind of a Z fold or an accordion fold again. This is more of a Z fold, just like that. So we are going to attach this down. So I'm going to put adhesive on the back, and this part too needs to be tacked down fairly well, because this part of the card is a little bit, it moves, right? So we're going to center that right on top of that Lost Lagoon. And here again, I love these colors together. So pretty. All right. So let's do some stamping. I am going to use the sentiment, "May the good you do come back to you." And I'm going to use that Gorgeous Grape again. Stamp that straight down, straight up. And Gorgeous Grape is the perfect purple. Just saying, it is like the perfect Crayola purple. So that is my opinion. Take it for what you will. But like when I think of purple in the rainbow, that's the color. Gorgeous Grape is the purple in the rainbow. All right, so I am going to move that up. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to bring in my little mini cut and emboss machine again. That's not going to do me any good. Let's get this set on here instead of trying to pick it up after I've got it all the way I want it, right? So I'm just centering the big die on my words, and then I'm centering this little guy. I'm just centering it right in there. So now I've got my double-sided tape, or my Post-it note tape. We'll just adhere that down. Plate 1 and 2 plate 2s, it through my mini cut and emboss machine again. And if you have the mini cut and emboss machine and you're finding that it's hard to get your sandwich to roll through, if you'll take a peek and look, I don't line my sandwich up. They're not perfectly square. If you line them up so one plate goes through a little sooner than the others, you're going to find you have a way easier time. Rather than having your plates go through at a perfect square, you're getting a lot of resistance. You want to kind of do that, or just have them so they don't go through all at one time, okay? And I hope that makes sense, and I hope that helps. So here we go. We're going to take our tape off, and then we've got this super cute tag with a little shape inside of it. So when I put it on here, isn't that just darling? I love that. All right, put those back, put this back. All right, so let's build our card. It's pretty much done already. I'm going to adhere my piece of basic white. Oy, oy, oy. center that on inside my panel there. And I like to leave that blank. I like to leave that blank just because this is a thank you note. I like to write a nice thank you note. Okay, so then this we will adhere right onto the piece of Lost Lagoon. Like so, just center it right on there. And then I am going to adhere that just like that, with some dimensionals. So here's my little hack on here. I am going to put some there and some there, and then one in the middle and two more. I do not want to put them off the edge. I don't want to seal this. So I'm actually going to put them directly on here so that I can get them up to the edge, but I don't get them over the edge to seal my card shut. So hope that makes sense. We don't want that card sealed shut so we can't open it. Perfect. Oh, I think that's a pretty card. You know what? I'm going to put one more up there just because it seems to be flattening out and I don't like that. There we go. Ta-da! All right, and then I'm going to grab the same butterfly that I used before, and I'm just going to set that guy right up on top of there. So pretty. And if you wanted to, you could most definitely take a blending brush and brush some ink onto there. Make this a purple butterfly or what have you. I like it white, so I'm just leaving him white. I'm so excited for the butterflies. I plant a butterfly garden in my backyard over on the edge of my woods, and I go out and I count the monarch caterpillars, and then they disappear and I don't know where they go, but they go somewhere, and I've tried. I'm on the edge of the woods, so but I try to find them every year. Every once in a while, a couple of years, I've watched a cocoon hatch out. Oh, it's so much fun. I just love my butterfly garden. All right, so I'm just going to put that right down there, and they lay so nice and perfectly flat. You do not need a whole lot of glue on the back of those guys. All right, and now I'm going to use some iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. Just the most perfect glitter. These are also retiring. They are also still available as of when I'm talking right now, and they are discounted. So these are great jewels because they just take that shimmer of whatever you're doing. I think they're so pretty. Let's see. I'm going to put him up here. Nope, I'm going to set him. I like him to be a triangle, but I don't like a perfect triangle. Woo-hoo-hoo, that is me. All right, so there is card number 2, and it makes this beautiful fun fold. Isn't that just darling? I love that. All right, so I'm going to flip the camera around and say goodbye. Isn't that pretty, Joanne? I think that is like just the funnest thing. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I do believe spring is sprung here in central Minnesota. It's so nice outside. So I hope you get outside and you do some fun stuff. I hope you get some crafting done. Don't forget, we are in the middle of the last chance offerings on the website in the online store. There's a lot of things retiring. There's been a lot that's already been sold out. So if you are looking for anything that is in the annual catalog or in the January to June mini catalog, January to April mini catalog, you might want to get checking it out soon so that you don't miss out on something that you have your heart set on. Otherwise, I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you back here next Friday night. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.